Hi all, I'm Trisha Peach, host of the Kidmin.Ninja, and I'm excited to be talking to you today about a very important subject, and that is questions you need to ask before you accept a new ministry position. So I know quite a few of you have already been at more than one ministry position, maybe you haven't, but if you are thinking of accepting a new ministry position, there are some questions you absolutely need to ask. And let's just get this out of the way right away. I'm already assuming you've prayed about this. You have weighed the pros and the cons. You've been interviewing. So I'm talking more practical questions that you need to ask before you sign on the dotted line. So these are questions that I wish I had asked. And so I'm trying to save you some of the trouble that I ran into. So number one, this is more important than you can imagine. Are they looking for a more of a visionary, more of a pastor, or are they looking for more of a director? Why does this matter? Well, some churches, even in the senior level, the senior position, they are looking for someone that will carry out the mission that the church already has. They're not wanting a change in direction. They want you to carry on what they already have been doing. This I see a lot in kids ministry. They've made a huge investment in the curriculum and they don't want to change. So they want you to carry out the existing programs, so you're actually more of a manager. You are more of a manager than a children's pastor. And this can happen with youth pastors as well, because they have memories of this fantastic youth pastor that was there 20 years ago, and they started a program and they don't want it changed. So what you are then is an administrator of the existing programs. And for some people, that is exactly what they're looking for. They have administrative skills, they have detail skills. They're amazing, and that's what they want to do. They want to carry out those programs. They like to have that direction. Know exactly, here's what I'm going to be doing. For others, it can be very frustrating, and I'm talking about myself, because a lot of kids pastors are extremely creative, and they come in with big vision and they want to speak into the direction of that kids ministry, and not being able to have an input there, that's not a good situation. So you need to know up front, what is this going to look like? Am I carrying out an existing vision and mission, or are you looking for someone to come in and set a vision that matches the church's vision and mission statement, and pull it forward? One of the ways you can tell this is, what curriculum are they using? Who makes the choice of what curriculum you're using? So if you wanted to change it, who makes that call? So a lot of kids pastors assume it's them. So they're thinking, oh, this isn't good. When I get in there, I'm going to make some changes. And then they run into a wall. No, we're never changing that curriculum. It's staying the same. So you need to know before you sign on the dotted line, who chooses that curriculum? Who is vision casting? Is it someone? I've had times where I step into a church and the last person that cast vision was 20 years ago, or they may even be deceased at this point. And I've had great freedom in the places that I've been, where they've said, all right, we want someone to come in with vision and speak into it and be creative. And that's a good fit for me. I have turned down positions because they're like, nope, you're just going to carry out what's already there. And that's not where my skill set lies. And so that's a good question to ask. Secondly, who are you going to be reporting to? The surprise here is I've had times where I thought this was clear. I thought before I came in, okay, you're going to be reporting to the senior pastor, but that was not the case. And this can be a problem if you get along great with the senior pastor, you agree with the senior pastor's vision, you are excited to partner with that senior pastor and really get things done, but you're not reporting to the senior pastor. It ends up you're reporting to this elder who doesn't like you, and the pastor may say, oh yeah, I want you to carry out this vision, but the elder says, no, absolutely you're not changing the curriculum. So then you can appeal to the pastor, and hopefully the pastor has your back. But it's good to know before you step into that role, who is your direct report? I loved it. I was reporting at one church to the family life director. It was wonderful. We got along great. We had a lot of the same vision. Another place I worked, I thought my direct report was the pastor. It ended up being his wife, and the wife had a completely different vision for that kids ministry than the pastor or myself, and it was just a nightmare. About 4 months was all I could take of that. So perhaps, that to me was a complete surprise. And I think you may want to say something about that if, okay, I thought I was reporting to the senior pastor. Instead, I am reporting to the associate pastor. I would want that clear and see how you mesh with whoever your direct report is supposed to be. So if you are like an associate kids pastor and you think you're going to be working for the head kids pastor, but actually you're going to be reporting to the preschool director who you guys just don't work, and some people just don't work well together, ask the question, who am I going to be reporting to? Who's my direct report? Number 3, and I asked this and it steps on toes, how much turnover have they had? And some churches are like, wait, well, and they have explanations, and that's fine. But if you have a huge amount of turnover over a short amount of years, that is a red flag. And you need to ask the questions, why are people coming and going from here like a turnstile? And then you know what I'm going to say. I will ask them, can I call the previous kids pastor and just talk to them? And if they say, no, don't talk to them, they're evil and bad, that's a red flag. If they say, oh no, all the last 9 were bad, the whole last 9 were terrible, that to me is not just a red flag, that's a screaming warning sign. 1 bad employee, yeah. 2, okay, that could happen. 9, well, now we have a systemic problem or a leadership problem that the people, they either don't know how to hire, and there's something very wrong going on there, and you need to dig into that. Even if I know God's called me there, I need to go in with my eyes open. I don't want the rose-colored glasses on. I need to know exactly what I'm walking into. And I think you would want to know that as well. Okay, so to recap, find out what is the nature of the job. Are they wanting a vision caster, wanting, open to change? Are they wanting someone to administrate the existing programs? 2, find out who your direct report is. Find out, okay? Ask the questions. And 3, find out what the turnover has been like and why. And it could be, yeah, they've had a couple of bad eggs, or they just didn't mesh. But you need to go in with your eyes open. 4, you can ask about what church scandals there have been. I always Google it because I need to go in with my eyes open. And I don't like those kind of surprises. Sometimes you find out the person before you was involved in a massive embezzlement scandal or some kind of a sex scandal, pornography or whatever it is, and you need to know that because you're walking into a situation where people have been hurt and betrayed. They're going to have trust issues, and understandably so. They're having trust issues, and you need to be careful, and God's going to be using you to do a lot of healing, going to be using you to try to pick up shattered, broken pieces there. And I don't understand it, but a lot of churches don't want to tell the incoming staff anything about that. So you agree, you move there, you step into that position, and then you find out, oh my goodness, and I have a whole nother mess to work with. I always Google it first, and I'll ask. And if they don't want to tell me, that's a red flag. That's a red flag because they're not sharing that information. They're not being honest and open about what's happening and that should unnerve you there. That would unnerve me. I need honesty and open communication. Fifth question you need to ask. Say, I want to see a sample schedule of what it's like to work here. So whether you are the senior or you are a staff pastor, you need to see a sample schedule. And for me, if they do not allow for a day off, it's a hard stop. You say, whoa, church would never do that. Oh, they do it all the time. All the time. They'll say, well, everybody else works 40, 50 hours a week, and then you volunteer on top of that. So we're not counting Sunday in your hours, and, all the outreaches we do Saturday don't count. So, and for us, we had services Saturday, we had services Sunday, we had midweek services and stuff about every night of the week. You need to be upfront and say, I am taking at least one day off a week. And if that's not okay, you need to not hire me. That's as blunt as I have been in the past. If that's not okay, then don't hire me, because I am taking one day off. And they'll say, oh, sure. But on your day off, you're going to do these outreaches, right? Nope. In the past, my favorite one to take off has been Friday. Monday's also one that we took off as a staff at one church. You want a church that values your health, values your family, your marriage. You want a church that's healthy, and it is toxic if they're just expecting everyone to be there every time the doors are open and you don't have a day off. You're not, you're made to feel guilty about your vacation days. And you can have a culture in a church where everybody is a workaholic. That's not healthy. And your marriage has to come first. Your kids have to come first before ministry at a church. Your relationship with Jesus has to come first. So I would be asking that question. Let me see what a sample schedule looks like, and what day does the staff usually take off? And I've asked questions like, how do you honor that staff person's day off or their time off? How do you honor their vacation time? And when they're up front and tell me, you know what, we do not call them on their day off. That's their day off. We respect their marriage. We make sure they take all their vacation days. We're careful that nobody calls them on. That tells me this is a healthy place. This is somewhere I would want to be. They care about me. I'm not just a cog in the machine that's going to get used and spit out and then get another one. They care about me, and they care about the ministry. Because you have to remember too, if you're just a workaholic, what kind of example are you setting for the people in your ministry? You're teaching them an idolatry of I work constantly, which is an American culture thing, not so much a biblical thing. So these are some questions you should absolutely ask. I think what pastors think of asking off the bat is, what's the pay? What's the benefits? For me, the questions I just showed you are 1,000 times more important. I'm not joking. I accepted one position, maybe two, without even knowing what it paid, because I knew God was calling me there, and I got great answers to my questions. And God took care of us, and it was great. No matter the money, if it's a bad, toxic situation, it's not going to be worth it. It isn't going to be worth it if you don't have your health and you don't have your family, things like that. So what questions do you wish you had asked before you went into a position? Please comment down below. I know this is going to cause a lot of discussion, but this is how I feel. These are questions I would ask before accepting any position. What questions do you wish you'd asked before you took positions in the past? And what questions are you so glad you asked? Maybe some surprises. I'd love to hear some surprises that you got. But thank you for joining us again this week. I'm Dr. Tricia Peach, host of Kidmin.Ninja. We love you guys. Oh, there's a fly. We love you guys. We'll see you next week on the Kidmin.Ninja, and be blessed in your ministry.